In this video we're going to look at sample layering and edit functions within trigger devices. The example software we're going to use is Addictive Trigger. It has some other functions and a lot of different editing options that make it ideal to illustrate what we're looking for. First sample we've got loaded here is a snare, so let's hear it. And this little window has an option to load 3 other layers underneath that sample. Looking at the other layers, let's cycle through. We'll add a trigger sample here. Let's have another one here. You could put a kick drum layered with a snare if you wanted. We'll stick a clap on this last one. Now if we solo the main snare, let's have a look in the edit window. Each layer's level can be controlled by the mixer, which has all the usual controls: mute, solo and phase reverse. We've got 4 channels here for representing each of the 4 layers of your sample. There are various parameters you can interact with to affect the sound of each of the samples. First of all, we've got a pitch control. It can be used to raise or lower the pitch by however many semitones. Other parameters include a noise control, which has some quite mad presets, various different low-level noise from things like valves or DC hum. We've got compressor and distortion mixed together here, and an EQ unit as well. With the compressor, for this example, let's set quite a heavy ratio of around 5:1. Controls for compressors are quite universal across various different devices: attack, threshold and release. You'll see that in the actual detection circuit of a lot of trigger devices. We'll use this crazy distortion plugin as well. We're just going to play with some effects and sounds and see what we can get out of it. Okay, maybe that one was a bit much. EQ wise, when it comes to a snare drum, it's good to shelve off at the bottom around 80 Hz, give it a boost around 250, get the body of the snare boosted up a little bit, and for removing the 80 Hz, that's getting rid of any lower frequencies that we really don't need, that are not important to the content of the snare. Obviously these parameters can be applied to each of the separate sample layers in turn as well. Now let's audition the final sound. Now this is a pretty extreme example, but it illustrates the tools you can have at your disposal when editing sample layers. In the next vid, we'll be looking at mixers within these devices and all their cool functions and features.